Seriously? Let's get into it. You're scrolling through your feed and suddenly, red heifers from Texas could trigger the apocalypse. Your timeline explodes. TikToks, tweets, WhatsApp forwards, all about these mysterious cows. It sounds like a wild Netflix plot, but it's real and grabbing headlines everywhere. This isn't just a fringe conspiracy. Major news outlets, religious leaders, and politicians are talking about it. The story has everything ancient prophecy, a controversial plan to build a third temple in Jerusalem, and a herd of rare red cows flown from Texas. For Muslims, this hits close to home. The proposed site is the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, a place of deep significance in our faith. So, when you hear about ancient rituals and rebuilding temples, it's not just abstract, it's personal. In this video, we'll break down what a red heifer is, why it matters to some Jewish and Christian groups, and what Islamic tradition actually says about all this. Let's separate fact from hype and figure out what this viral prophecy really means for us today. Let's start with the basics. What is a red heifer, and why the obsession? In the Hebrew Bible, a para aduma is a young female cow, perfectly red, never used for work, and completely unblemished. Its ashes, mixed with water, were used in an ancient purification ritual, essential for priests to serve in the temple. The requirements are so strict that finding a qualifying animal is almost impossible. Since the Second Temple's destruction in 70 AD, the ritual hasn't been performed, but for some Jewish activists, the dream of rebuilding a third temple is alive, and they believe it can't happen without reviving this ritual. That's why the recent arrival of several red heifers in Israel is such a big deal for them. For centuries, a perfect red heifer was legendary. Now, a few candidates have been found and flown in. For these groups, it's not just about a rare cow. It's a sign that a new era could be starting. And the next step? The most contentious: building a third temple on one of the world's most contested sites. This isn't just ancient history, it's a live, high-stakes issue. The red heifer is now a symbol of both religious hope and political tension. That's why the world is watching. Here's where it gets surreal. These prophetic cows came from Texas. In 2022, 5 specially bred red Angus heifers were flown to Israel, not as livestock, but as pets, to bypass import rules. This was a joint effort between the Temple Institute in Jerusalem and evangelical ranchers from Texas. For the Christian partners, it's about fulfilling prophecy, not just helping out. The heifers are now kept in a secret location in Israel, monitored to ensure they remain pure. As of 2024, at least 3 still meet the strict criteria. The plan? To sacrifice one on the Mount of Olives overlooking Al-Aqsa, as described in biblical instructions. This isn't just a dream. They have the animals, the site, and the will. Israeli government involvement, even at the departmental level, signals this is more than a fringe project. It's a politically charged reality with serious implications for peace in the region. So, what's the endgame? Building the third temple. The first and second temples were destroyed centuries ago, but the dream of rebuilding persists for some. For these groups, the temple isn't just history, it's the only place for certain rituals and God's presence on earth. Mainstream Jewish authorities generally oppose forcing the issue, but temple activists are pushing ahead. The site, known to Jews as the Temple Mount, to Muslims as Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary, home to Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. For Muslims, it's the third holiest site, tied to the Prophet Muhammad's night journey. The plan to build a third temple here implies removing or destroying these Islamic landmarks. That's why the red heifer ceremony is so provocative. It's seen as the first step toward a direct challenge to Al-Aqsa. The fear: the sacrifice will be used to declare the area pure for Jewish worship, justifying a takeover. This isn't just theology, it's a flashpoint for political and religious conflict. A sacred space becomes the world's most volatile real estate. The stakes couldn't be higher. Why are American evangelicals so invested in this ancient Jewish ritual? It's all about a specific end-times theology called dispensationalism. For these Christians, rebuilding the temple is a key step before the second coming of Jesus and the final judgment. They believe the third temple will trigger a period of chaos, the rise of the Antichrist, and ultimately Jesus' return. That's why Christian Zionists are funding and supporting the temple movement. Their goals differ from their Jewish partners, but their short-term objective, building the temple, aligns. Not all Christians believe this, but this view is hugely influential in the US and shapes real-world politics. It's a powerful, if uneasy, alliance with global consequences. So, what does Islam say about the red heifer? In short, nothing. The red heifer isn't mentioned in the Quran or authentic hadith as a sign of the end times. The ritual and its prophetic significance are specific to Jewish and some Christian traditions. Yes, the Quran has a chapter called Al-Baqarah, the cow, but it's about a yellow cow, not a red one, and it's a lesson in obedience, not prophecy. The idea of rebuilding a third temple as a sign of the end times is absent from Islamic teachings. Our eschatology has its own signs, meant to inspire faith, not panic or political aggression. So, when you see red heifer headlines, remember, this isn't our prophecy. The political implications are real, especially for Al-Aqsa, but the religious panic isn't ours to carry. Understanding this helps us separate political threats from religious hype. Our faith gives us a different framework, one that doesn't involve cows from Texas. If the red heifer isn't part of our end-time story, what is? Islamic tradition details two types of signs before the Day of Judgment, minor and major. Minor signs, like widespread ignorance and moral decline, have mostly already appeared. Major signs are unmistakable. The appearance of the Dajjal, Antichrist, the return of Prophet Isa, Jesus, the coming of the Mahdi, and the emergence of Gog and Magog. Other signs include 3 major landslides, a thick smoke, the sun rising from the west, a speaking beast, and a great fire. These are cosmic, world-shaking events, nothing about red cows or rebuilding temples. The focus is on spiritual awakening and justice, not political land grabs. Our signs are meant to turn us back to Allah, not to fuel conflict. If the red heifer isn't our prophecy, why is it everywhere on Muslim social media? Social media algorithms love drama. Nothing spreads faster than fear and urgency. Stories about secret plots to destroy Al-Aqsa, tied to ancient prophecy, are viral gold. Misinformation spreads quickly, nuance gets lost. A small group's actions can be exaggerated into an imminent threat. The real-world context matters. Palestinians face daily threats, and temple activists are pushing to change the status quo. So, when the red heifer story breaks, it fits into a larger pattern of fear and resistance. End times prophecies are compelling. They offer order in chaos and a sense of purpose. But they can also be exploited to stir up tension and distract from core spiritual teachings. The red heifer story went viral because it perfectly blends prophecy, politics, and social media speed. So how should young Muslims respond to prophecy panic online? First, seek knowledge before sharing. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned against spreading everything you hear. Check your sources. Is it credible? What do our scholars say? A few minutes of fact-checking can stop misinformation. Second, focus on unity, not division. These stories are designed to create us versus them narratives. Stand for justice, but do so with wisdom and clarity, not blind rage. Don't blame entire faiths for the actions of a few extremists. Build bridges with people of goodwill, not walls of suspicion. Channel your energy into positive action. Educate yourself, support credible organizations, and make sincere dua for justice and peace. Strengthen your own character and connection with Allah. Practice compassion and good manners, even online. Heated debates only fuel stereotypes. A calm, principled response is more powerful. By grounding ourselves in knowledge and compassion, we can navigate the noise without losing our way. Strip away the cows, prophecy, and politics, and you find a basic human quest for meaning. Everyone, temple activists, evangelicals, Muslims online, is searching for certainty and a sign that their faith matters. The danger is when this search becomes politicized, turning faith into a tool for power and conflict. The Red Heifer saga shows how sacred stories can be hijacked for dangerous agendas. Islam offers a different path. The signs of the end times are reminders, not scripts to enact or political roadmaps. They're meant to turn our hearts to Allah and inspire us to do good now, not obsess over headlines. The real question isn't when the world will end, but how we choose to live today. In our search for signs, what are we really hoping to find? And what does that say about our relationship with the one who holds the future?